Need to improve your club on Ultimate Team? Check out IGDM for safe and reliable coins with the link in the description. Get an extra 5% discount with code NA. What's good, y'all? For today's video, we're going to be going over the 4-2-3-1. And it's one of those custom tactics that are really meta, really consistent, regardless of the situation, regardless of updates and things like that. And it's also a really unique formation, primarily because of the, 3 center attacking mid structure. So you have a lot of unique movements in the final third. All 4 of your attackers up front are getting involved in, for goal scoring opportunities in unique ways. And it's generally just a really consistent formation. But to go straight to the custom tactics, which, this is my team right here. I got bored and I did this Demarai Gray. I think I pronounced his name right. Demarai? Is it Yeah, I just did him, so I haven't used him yet. But on a side note, if you guys want to see any play reviews or anything like that, in my Discord server with the link in the description, I opened like a small little player reviews chat where I'll try to basically just give really quick reviews of new cards that come out, if they're good cards at least. I'm not gonna do every single one, obviously, but yeah, that's that. Other than that, straight to the custom tactics. I have it set to attacking, defensive style balance, 46 width and 60 depth. And real quick, we're gonna be talking about something a lot of people have been mentioning, and that is gonna be 100 depth. Now, for the record, the good thing about depth, generally speaking, whenever you're using these custom tactics that are meta to begin with, you can change your depth irrespective of the other custom tactics. And what I mean by that is you don't have to worry about, taking meta custom tactics and then making them not meta anymore, making them not effective anymore when you decide to change the depth. Compared to, if you try to take the offensive width, that could completely break your custom tactic because that offensive width can be really important. Same goes for a defensive width. You can change this as much as you want. So whenever you're playing with custom tactics, maybe you want to tweak something to work better for you, you can change these two to be whatever you want, as long as you're aware of, what's good and what's not good. So that brings us to the topic of 100 depth. And guys, 100 depth has existed for as long as 71 depth, and the reason why we're not using it is the fact that if you chose not to use 71 depth this whole time, there's absolutely zero reason for you to want to use 100 depth. 100 depth has nothing unique to it. It's nothing insane. It's not this meta secretly used defense. It's literally just 71 depth, but it's just more aggressive. And if it wasn't apparent for why we don't use 71 depth anymore, it's the fact that if you're going against a good player that has good custom tactics, the benefits of 100 depth are just going to be completely they're just going to be a complete liability. And what I mean by that is, with having that automatic offside trap, automatic press, all of those things, you're just going to be opening up spaces in your defense, and a good player is just going to go right through that. Now, this isn't to say 100 depth isn't good, because it's good. But the thing is, it's equally as good, if not slightly better than 100 depth. So like I said, just to keep it short, if this whole time you were not using 71 depth, there's absolutely zero reason for you to, want to use 100. If you've been enjoying between 60 to 70 this whole time, just keep it at 60 to 70, to be honest. But obviously, try it for yourself if you have questions or if you're curious, because it might make you play better. I found that when I was playing, less experienced players, 100 was even better. But in the grand scheme of things, especially when I'm pushing for 20 and O's, I don't want to be using 100 personally, or anything above 71 for what it's worth. But yeah, 60 is my perfect number, to be honest. Going straight to build up play chance creation, I'm going to just keep this one short. The 4-2-3-1, you always want direct passing and balance for a 4-2-3-1. There's no other combination that you want to use for 4-2-3-1s. 41 width, this one's pretty simple as well. You just want to make sure that your left attacking mid and your right attacking mid are tucked in between the other team's fullback and center back. This is pretty easy to do regardless, because they're not actual wingers, but we don't want them holding positions outside of the fullback, which can be really annoying because then they're not going to get involved for getting into the box, and then as well as they're going to be cut off from accessing direct passing lanes with the striker and the cam. So 41 width is just to keep them as close as possible to your striker and actual cam. That way you have passing options consistently. You can always pass between that 4 if possible. And then players in the box 6, like I say in every other video, it's not a Noeasy custom tactic if it doesn't have 6 players in the box. Even if, the structure is to only attack with 3 or 4 players, we always use 6. That way, whenever we have situational moments where a center mid or a fullback or even a center back for a German cross, things like that, whenever they enter the box, they will remain in the box. So it gives you more control of the players that attack Corners 3, free kicks 1. I don't even care about these. Do whatever you want. And then straight to the player instructions. You got your striker, stay central, get behind, stay forward. Let me just fix these. Just fix these because I changed my squad earlier prior to this video. This should more or less do it. Anyways, actually, no, let's do this. Yeah, that should do it. Anyways, striker up front, stay central, game behind, stay forward. This is pretty simple. You just want your striker to be opening up space for your cam because your cam's going to be scoring probably like half your goals in this custom tactic, if not setting up goals for your striker for tap-ins and things like that. Stay central game behind is really crucial for your team because your striker is going to be winning space for you that your cams will utilize effectively. So think of this player basically like sacrificing himself and his ability to really get the ball to his feet. That way the players around him will have, their own chances to score themselves and dribble. Now on the counter attack, this player is going to be perfect because they're going to be making really good runs. We do choose stay central because although I don't really like using stay central on my strikers, it's important that we use stay central because if we don't have them on stay central, there'll be moments where you get the ball and this player is going to be the player that opens up before the cam. And generally speaking, we want the cam to have the ball first because if you're sending a pass from, your center mid straight to your striker, more often than not, then you're really just isolating your cam away from, their own opportunities. So me personally, I prefer stay central, game behind. And then your cam is going to be on completely default. And I've said this in my previous 4-2-3 ones. And generally speaking, cam is one of the only positions in the game where you can leave it at completely default and it's going to still work really well. There's just something about cam AI that is just really good. And if you build a team around it, there's not many limitations to it. That brings us to our left cam, who's going to be on comeback on defense, get into the box for cross. Now the comeback on defense is only there to maintain that 4-4-2 defensive structure. Get into the box for cross is very self-explanatory. We just need this player to literally get into the box for cross. We don't want them to be on the edge of the box, which can occur if you leave them on balance, especially when the ball is like deep inside the box. Like I'm talking like within like the 6-yard box and things like that. And then your right cam is going to be on the exact same thing. Come back on defense, get into the box for cross. Like I said, you just want them to be involved in that box as well as maintaining that 4-4-2 defensive structure. That brings us to our double pivot midfield. You got one midfielder on balance defense, balance attack, cover center, and then the other midfielder on cut passing lane, stay back, will attack, and cover center. Now this should be pretty self-explanatory, especially if you've seen my previous videos where I do this exact same midfield setup. It's one of my favorite things about custom tactics this year. I love having this exact midfield setup when I have a double pivot midfield. Your attacking midfielder, or the actual box to box, or not box to box, think of more as like a number 8. It's more of like a center attacking midfielder, not like a literal cam, but like a midfielder that's attacking more often than not. The best thing about balance attack is that he makes runs into the box in the perfect moments. That way you're not worried about conceding in the counter attack because it's not going to be consistent over and over and over again runs. So there's still going to be moments where he's linking up with the other center mid to, retain possession and things like that. But for the most part, this player acts as an extra option just in case, you're in a situation where your 4 attackers just cannot penetrate. You can't get that, that running behind, that perfect pass. This player will just come out of nowhere and make a run into the box. That's perfect. And then the right center mid, pretty self-explanatory, like I said, if you've watched my previous videos. This one's not literally going to be a CDM, unfortunately, because that's just kind of how the game is when it comes to the 4-2-3-1. But this player is still going to act as an anchor. You need someone with very good defensive stats here, of course. And also, they need really good dribbling. I mean, to be honest, at this point of the game, you just need midfielders that are good at everything. I'm sure everyone at this point of the game has really good players all around the pitch, so I shouldn't even be, stressing that. But what is worth mentioning, though, is work rates. And at this position right here, you would definitely want medium-high. Or, sorry, no, I'm tripping. You would want medium-high here, and then at this position right here, you'd want it to be high or high medium. But medium high works here as well, to be honest. It's just going to look different, so you're going to have to get used to that. But yeah, that's that. Your fullbacks, you're going to have your left fullback on balance attack overlap. Now, whenever I do this, people like to ask, oh, why is your attacking fullback the same side as your attacking center mid? Isn't that going to create a situation where your left side's going to be wide open? And the answer to that is really complicated. It's like yes and no. The reason why I say that is because logically, yes, that makes sense. However, this game does not operate on logic. And what I mean by that is the fact that for some reason, when the other team gets their ball back, your center mid and your fullback are going to run it back into position so fast that there's no chance for them to really abuse it. As long as you're being careful, as long as you're not, dragging players out of position and you're letting your AI do their work, you won't actually have to deal with the issue of your left side being wide open. Because like I said, this game doesn't operate on logic. It doesn't make sense. Now, personally, the benefit with having your attacking fullback on the same side as your attacking midfielder is because I've found myself to basically give him passes really good when he runs into that space in between the center mid and the fullback. So it gives you a really it makes your left side really attacking based, if that makes sense. So it's good to have reliable options going down the left wing. But yeah, on that hand, your right back is going to be on center back while attacking overlap. This should be pretty self-explanatory. If it's possible, try to go for a player here that's a center back, if that makes sense. You don't need a player here really good attacking. Obviously, if you can get one, that's perfectly fine, but for me, I found Walker to be perfect because he basically acts as a center back, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's that. And then your two center backs are going to be completely default, and then your keeper. This literally does not even matter at this stage of the game. I feel like there's no difference regardless. Now, to be completely honest, these custom tactics are, in my opinion, they're just pretty boring. The reason why I say that is because they're so simple. There's not much you can do to make them unique. It's one of those custom tactics that you can just use regardless of what players you have and things like that. But with that being said, these are just custom tactics that will be effective regardless of patches, regardless of players. So at the end of the day, if you just need a win, then obviously this formation is going to be just for you. They are, in my opinion, easily top 5 formation in the game, the 4-2-3-1. In my opinion, it's a formation that will never let you down. It might let you down for 1 week, but the next week it'll be back to being effective. And that's also a really unique formation because there's not any other formation in the game, for what it's worth, that utilizes that same attacking structure of, having 3 attacking midfielders. So you get an attacking movement, attacking AI that you'll never see with any other custom tactic. The closest that you'll see is maybe, the 4-3-2-1, and that thing's meta for its own reasons too. Now, with all these things being said, as far as other custom tactics, I'm currently reworking a previous 3-4-2-1 that I made a while ago, as well as drafting a little 4-3-1-2. Now, let me know, guys, in the comments which one you guys want first, because the one that, is obviously suggested more, I'll probably try my best to 20-0 with that one just to make sure it's good before I drop it. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, or if you guys want me to try any other formations, leave a comment. Other than that, like, subscribe. That's all.